Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the Amani Talks podcast. You're here with your host, Amani, on the podcast where we discuss our Christian based topics and deepening our relationship with the Lord. For everyone new here, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button before we get started. I want you to be a part of our community, help it grow, help it get out there, and just, share the word. So today's podcast is going to be a little different. Usually we get into the word really heavy and we go scripture for scripture, and we probably will do that today too. But there was just a topic on my mind, heavy, that I really needed to get out expeditiously to the girls, okay? And it's something that I'm just so convicted about. And if you're going to hear it from anybody, you are going to hear this message from Amani, me, okay? So lately, you guys, I have just been feeling tested. I have been feeling tested in a certain area of my life, and I just wanted to share that with you all and give straight transparency and honesty, because one thing I am big on, if you're new here, my subscribers already know this about me, I am big on being open, honest, transparent, and somewhat vulnerable. I can't be maybe as detailed as I would like because this is a very public platform. So I'm not going to give people the tidbits and details into my personal life, but I try to be as open and honest with what I'm going through as possible, because it's going to help other Christian women out there, especially single Christian women, because I myself am single. And the first year that I came back into my relationship with God, which was February of last year, that entire year, I did not spend that year praying for a husband. I did not spend that year thinking that God was preparing me for a husband. I spent that year with the Lord. I spent that year in an isolation season. I spent that year low-key having little tidbits, little experiences of some mild persecution. I spent that year learning and growing towards my relationship with God first and foremost, right? Because a lot of people, or I guess you might hear a lot of the time, that your single season is preparing you for marriage, but that might not necessarily be true. Not all of us are going to get married. Marriage is a good thing. Marriage is something that if you desire it, if you chase after the Lord and really delight in Him, He will give you the desires of your heart. We already know that. But yeah, there's sometimes it can kind of seem like the idea is that your singleness is just preparing you for marriage. And I took that first year to not even think about marriage. I took that first year knowing that marriage was a desire of mine, but so were a lot of other things. I wanted my YouTube channel to grow. I wanted my creator, I'm a full-time content creator. I wanted my career to grow. There were a lot of things that I was praying for. I wanted my discernment, my judgment, my relationship with the Lord to grow. There are a lot of desires that I have even in that area. I have low-key been kind of feeling like, should I go to seminary? Is seminary calling me? Is that the next thing? I spent some time getting into apologetics and really studying that. I just really wanted to grow my relationship with Christ, because without that, nothing else that I even want will flourish anyway. And that's just the truth. Seek ye first the kingdom, and all these things will be added to you, right? So with me really heavily seeking the Lord that first year, even when I remember maybe a few months in, I tried to pray for a husband and I felt the Lord shutting that down very quickly. Girl, what are you doing? Girl, what are you doing? Stop. I'm going to stop you right there in your tracks, because that's not the season for it. And I said, okay, God, I understand that. And that's why I took that season to really focus on me and really enjoy my singleness. And I really still am. I was on the phone with my mom the other day, and she was telling me with the life that you have, I don't even know why you really want marriage. She didn't say it exactly like that, but she was like, I understand companionship, but she was like, you have a pretty good life. And I was like, that's extremely true. Sometimes I kind of go back and forth with even trying to really understand for myself if I truly desire marriage or if I just think that I should have marriage. Is it truly a desire of mine? And I kind of waffle back and forth. But all in all, I do really believe that it is a desire of mine, because it does keep coming back to me in some way, shape, or form. And I have been feeling tested in that area specifically as of late, okay? And I just wanted to say this. When it comes to Christian women, and specifically dating, or specifically waiting for the Lord to reveal your husband, you need to have higher than most standards. And along with having higher than most standards, you need to stand on business with those standards. A lot of us will get on the internet, or we'll talk to friends about, I ain't going for that, and that couldn't be me. Y'all stay safe. But then it's you. because you talk the talk in public, but you're not really walking the walk in private. And that's why you keep going through these cycles of learning and stumbling and having to come back to the Lord when you strayed away too far. That's why we keep going through these struggles, because we talk a good talk, but we don't actually walk the walk. And I'm here to really tell y'all, okay, that it's not good enough just to talk about the standards that you have if you're not truly living them out, because the world is watching you. As a woman, you should have high standards anyway, no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing. And you guys know I've always preached that. Even before I came back to my walk with Christ, I've always preached that the average woman should have very high standards, because that's the only way that you are going to get what you want out of your life. But as a Christian woman, your standards need to be above and beyond, because people are watching you more intently than they are watching the average woman. And don't let that go over your head. When you make the decision to publicly proclaim Christ and you get on your social media platform, or you tell your friends or your family what you're not doing, what you ain't doing, you better make sure you're living it out in real life, because people are watching you more closely than they do other people. Even if they do not admit it, the world is watching you more intensely. For malicious reasons or not, they're watching you more closely. And you better believe that. There are people out there that will closely watch Christians. As soon as you proclaim Christ, they're watching you with a magnifying glass, way more intently than they watch anybody else, just to see if you'll slip up, just to see if you're not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. And on top of that, the enemy will be sending people in your life just to test you, just to push your boundaries, just to push your limits, just to see what they can get away with, just to test your faith. There will be people in your life that come just to press your buttons, just to push you towards anger, just so that they can get on social media and make a video talking about so-and-so said that they're a Christian, but they was on the internet cussing and doing this, even though they're the ones that pushed you to anger. They're testing you. There will come men in your life that will push your boundaries, push your limits, just to see what you're letting them get away with, just so that they can go back to their group chat and say, so-and-so said they're a Christian, but look what we was just doing last night. That will happen. You need more than just high standards, sis. You need to be actually living them out and standing on business with those high standards. Because anybody can talk about what they will and won't do, but when it comes time to actually stand on that, and when they stand on that, they have to forfeit the things that they thought they wanted with the timeline they thought they wanted. When they actually have to stand on that, it's a different story. You need to stand on business, because the world is watching you more intently, whether they admit it or not. That's the truth. The word does not say that the world is looking to stand with Christians and understand our position or be empathetic towards us. No, the word says that the world is watching us. Some of these people are watching just to see if you will slip. They are waiting on you to make that crucial mistake, just so that they can go back and say, see, Christians ain't no better than us. Look what they was just doing. They are waiting for that excuse to discredit Christians. That's why the Bible talks about even the optics of something is important. Flee from even the appearance of evil. It doesn't even matter if you're doing evil or not. The appearance is going to be good enough for some people to go back and try to ruin your testimony. You need to flee from even the small things, the jokes, the things that your friends are doing that they would say, girl, it's not that big of a deal. The things that man is pushing you towards that he would say, well, it wasn't really like that. And so many of us already know this, right? But we overlook a lot of things just to be able to get what we want in the timing that we want. A lot of women put their relationships on a timer, and they say, if I'm not married by 31, then I need to, strike off a couple of things off my list. I need to lower my standards, because obviously my standards are too high. And that makes absolutely zero sense to me. That's like studying for a big test for months and months, and then you saying, oh, well, I'm not going to pass the test anyway. And then a week before the test, you stop studying. That makes absolutely no sense. That's like getting to, I don't know, what is it in sports? Getting to this whatever yard line and then just giving up because you're like, well, I'm never going to make it. You were right there. It makes no sense to have high standards your whole life that have kept you and protected you, by the way, from some very low quality experiences. But because you haven't gotten married by 31, now you're like, well, actually, did that stuff really matter? Now you're gaslighting yourself because you didn't get what you wanted in time. I don't know about y'all, but the Lord has not given me what I wanted when I thought I wanted it, because he was protecting me and because I'm special. You know how I know I'm special? Because the Lord told me I'm special. And he tells me I'm special when I'm praying to him and I'm telling him when I want something. And he's saying, slow down, Savannah, because you know what? You can have it right or you can have it right now. And I know we're all familiar with that concept. You can have it right or you can have it right now. Which is it going to be? Because there are people that get married by 25 and they're divorced by 29. They're on their second marriage by the time that they're in their early 30s. I'd rather wait till my early 30s and have the right man from the very start, from the jump. Ain't no restart. Ain't no, oh, I got to start over. Absolutely not. You can have it right or you can have it right now. So the premise of you're getting older and now you got to lower your standards because, girl, bye. And also when we talk about our standards as Christian women, there are a lot of us that it's not even the age part. Your type is keeping you from your husband. I know a lot of church girls that want the thug. They want the drug dealer. And you know what? He might even come to church once or twice. That's the funny part. He might even come to church with you once or twice. Y'all be trying to bring a hood ninja off the streets, okay? Fresh from the dice game and trying to bring him to church thinking that you or the church is going to save him. You are not going to save him, sis. We have these men of God sliding in the DMs of IG baddies because he's putting looks before everything else. And then when he's on a date with her, he's tempted lustfully. All of a sudden, it's her problem. No, that's your problem because why were you on the date with her in the first place? Y'all put looks before everything else. And then when y'all find out that she's exactly who she purported herself to be, now it's somebody else's problem. No, that's your problem. You should have prayed before you went on the date with her. We got these church girls wanting the thug, wanting the drug dealer, wanting the thug aesthetic. I just don't get that. I see so many girls say that, especially women in the church. You know, he got to have a little swag. He got to have a little of this. No, give me the square. I'll take the square any day. Are you kidding me? Y'all be dating the men with dangly earrings and then be shocked when he gives you dangly earring energy. I just don't get it. You want a man of God or you want the thug? Because you ain't going to have both. You want the IG baddie or you want the woman that God has for you. You're not going to get both. I think a lot of people think that they can choose their spouse and whoever it is, the Lord will bless that. You know what I believe? I believe that the Lord chooses our spouse. When Abraham's servant went out to go find the woman that Isaac was going to marry, this is what he said in Genesis 24, verse 14. He says, "Now let it be that the young woman to whom I say, please let down your pitcher that I may drink. And she says, drink, and I will also give your camels a drink. Let her be the one you have appointed for your servant Isaac. And by this I will know that you have shown kindness to my master. Let her be the one you have appointed for your servant Isaac." I don't think that it could really be more clear than that. So this is really a short podcast today because I almost didn't record today, but I was like, no, like this is on my mind. Like I didn't have a setup kind of lesson or like anything specific, but I was like, no, I have to get this out today. It's been on my mind. Okay. Stand your ground, women of God. Stand your ground. Do not let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't let nobody tell you that your standards are too high or your convictions don't really matter. Stand on the word of God and stand your ground. That's the only way you get what you want out of life. That's the only way. I don't care what nobody tell you. What the Lord told you is relevant. It is for your protection and it's ultimately for your success. You ignoring it is never going to bring about what you want out of life, ever. And this is just a reminder that the world is watching you. Like I said, whether they admit it or not, they are watching you. They're watching you to see what you will do. They're watching you to see if you're going to stand up for yourself. They're watching you to see if you're going to slip and fall and be like everybody else. They are watching you. Hebrews 12:1 says, "Therefore we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us." We are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. So let us not sin. All the things that we so easily fall into, when we are led away by our own temptations, our own desires, let us put that behind us because people are watching us. There is a great cloud of witnesses and you need to stand your ground, stand on your convictions, and stand by God. And that's all I really have for you guys today. Just a reminder, make sure you guys are on the AmaniWortham.com website. Sign up for the weekly emails, especially if you are in the Atlanta area, because I do have a small girl group that has been assembled, and we get together for bi-weekly Bible studies, outings, we're planning things. We're just getting together for friendship and community. So if you are in the Atlanta area, definitely make sure you sign up for those emails. The email list has grown. It's like over 150, and I'm just like, okay, like it's getting there. Like that's amazing. So yeah, definitely get in touch and get in tune with what we are doing, because the Lord is definitely doing a work with community in Atlanta. All right, I will see you guys later. Bye.